Welcome to Divorce at Altitude, a podcast on Colorado family law. I'm Ryan Kalamaya. Each week, along with my business partner and co-host, Amy Goscha, or an expert, we discuss a particular topic related to divorce or co-parenting in Colorado. In addition, we have created a short series of lessons that will take you through the legal process of divorce and answer your questions, from simple to complex. Divorce isn't easy. The end of a marriage, especially when children are involved, brings a great deal of loss and change. We hope these practical tips and insights will help you on your journey to a new and better life. So, what happens if the status quo cannot be preserved, or there's a disagreement between the parties, as often is the case in a divorce, about who's going to pay what bills or how we're going to split up the kids for parenting time? Well, you can ask for what are called temporary orders. Temporary orders are an interim set of rules that apply to your case while you wait for permanent orders from the court. Permanent orders or final orders, that's the final trial date or the final decree that is entered by the court. Now, temporary orders can apply to both parenting or financial aspects of your case. If it's an emergency, then you can file what's called a forthwith or an emergency motion. And I will tell you that judges oftentimes disagree whether or not something is an emergency, and they don't like having emergency issues. And similarly, temporary orders, they're expensive, they're contentious. So judges, they generally don't like them, and you can reach them by agreement. So if you have an agreement on who's going to go into the residence, or that someone's going to have exclusive possession of the marital residence, then you can file what's called a stipulation or an agreement on temporary orders. And same thing for kids. Now, if you can't agree, then you can go to a hearing, and at the initial status conference that I referenced earlier, you can let the family court facilitator know that the status quo is not being preserved or it's just unacceptable, and you can ask for a hearing date on temporary orders. Most of the time, the judge is going to require, and it is dependent on the judge and the county, but most will require mediation, which will be subject to another discussion before getting into temporary orders. One word of caution is that the temporary orders hearing, they can be expensive, but most importantly, they can really determine the trajectory of a case. Cases can be won or lost at temporary orders, even though it's supposed to be just an interim order and you're supposed to, be able to preserve all arguments at a later date. But if the court disagrees or disbelieves a party because they just don't find them credible, that can completely change your case. So you just need to be careful when you ask for temporary orders. Thanks for listening or watching this short lesson on the Divorce at Altitude podcast. If you found this helpful, please leave a review or share with a friend. It does help for others that are going through or thinking about a divorce in Colorado. If you want to find out more information, please visit kalamaya.law or divorceataltitude.com, and that's KALAMAYA.law. Remember, this is educational information. It's not intended to be legal advice. Please consult with an attorney about the particulars of your case. We're happy to answer questions. Feel free to give us a call at 970-315-2365.